Power BI is a data analytical tools which is used to get insights into the data, to make your data much more better, to improve the data performance, or to use the data to take some critical decisions. That's the basic goal of Power BI. Okay. So Power BI have the ability to connect with any type of data. We can connect with any type of data using Power BI. We can connect with any type of data. We can create different types of dashboards, different types of reports, different types of visualizations within Power BI. And that also we can create it without having much dependent on the IT technology staffs. So this is Power BI is a data analytical tools which is being developed by Microsoft. It is used to do different types of data analysis. It is used to get insights of the data. Power BI can connect with any data sources. It has the capability to connect with any file data sources. It has the capability to connect with any databases, any data warehouses, any cloud data sources. So people can start connecting their data. They can start using the data for creating different visualizations. Power BI can be used to create dashboards, to create different data analyticals reports, to create different forecastings, and it all can be created without having any dependent on the IT staffs or any data expertise. We don't need any data expertise to create any reports in Power BI. Now, Power BI has the ability to collaborate your data, to share your data, to customize that datas, and to share your datas and dashboards with different people in the organizations. We can share our data with our colleagues, with our managers, and it can be done automated way. It can be done through automated processes. Power BI can be used to create complex reports, or it can be used to also to create basic ad hoc reports also. It is being used both as a reporting tool, as a data analytical tools. It is used as a forecasting tool. It is used as a data mining tools. So all things related to data can be done by using Power BI. Now, Power BI is basically used for connecting with different data sources. Power BI is used to clean the data. Power BI is used to do different types of data manipulations. Power BI is used to create different types of reports. Power BI is used to create different types of forecastings. Power BI is used to get insights of the data. So there are different areas on which the industry uses Power BI. Ultimately, it helps to streamline the process. It helps to improve the business performance. It ultimately helps organization to grow. So that's where the Power BI played a very critical role to streamline the processes of any organization. That's why all the higher management, like your CTO, CFO, all these people, they are nowadays using this Power BI for all their reports. Also for taking any type of critical decisions. Power BI is being used across all the organizations. That's the beauty of Power BI. Now, where actually the Power BI can be helpful. Now, for example, suppose a car manufacturing company, for example, I'll say. Now, the car manufacturing company, for example, they can plan their entire process by getting insights about our data using this Power BI tool. For example, suppose I want to plan my next year forecasting. I can use Power BI for that. For example, a pharmaceutical industries wants to plan their production life cycle. They can use this Power BI. So by looking into our historical data, by looking into our critical data, what is there in the history and what is there present, we normally take some critical decisions, and we do some forecasting about our futures, and we do certain levels of plannings. So that all can be done by getting insights of our data using this Power BI. That's the usage of Power BI. Now, to use this Power BI, there are different components in Power BI, for example. Okay. Now, Power BI have a desktop components which is entirely free. We have a Power BI desktop, which is a free tool which is being developed by Microsoft. We have to just download it and install it. That is one of the components which is called as the Power BI desktop. We have the Power BI web. Power BI web is a cloud-based platform. So we can use this Power BI, for example, directly in the cloud also. Then there is no need of doing an installation on the Power BI desktop. We can directly log into our Power BI web accounts and start using this Power BI. And Power BI also have a mobile app. So there are different components. I say there are different application types of Power BI. We can either use the Power BI desktop, we can use the Power BI web, or you can use the Power BI mobile also. Now, if you're using any of these components, any of these application types, Power BI have these four major components. These are the building blocks of Power BI. The first component is called as the data sources, or the first building block of Power BI is called as the data sources. Now, Power BI data sources is used to load the data. So, if I want to create a dashboard or if you want to create a reports, I have to particularly connect with any data sources. And Power BI have the ability to connect with different data sources. We can load data from different data sources. We can build relationship between different data sources. We can do different modeling with different data sources. We can build our data marts. We can build our databases model. That all things can be done by using Power BI. That is the first building block of Power BI. That is called as data source components. The second component of Power BI is called as data transformations. Data transformation is used to clean the data, to manipulate the data, to transform the data. That is the second building block of Power BI. Then we use this Power BI to create different types of dashboards, to create different types of scorecards, to create different types of visualization. That component is called as the visualization component. Then once we have created this Power BI reports, we share it with different people by publishing our reports into the Power BI apps, or we can say into the Power BI services. This Power BI services is an environment where we normally publish our reports. We create Power BI apps. This application, reporting application, can be shared across all the people in the world once we have done the publishing. So that is the fourth building block of Power BI. So connect, transform, visualize, and share. These are the four building blocks of Power BI. Okay, so I'll now show you a specific demo like how we can use this Power BI, for example. Now, suppose I want to use this Power BI over here. I'll just say open this tool, for example. This is called as a Power BI desktop over here. I'll just say connect to this Power BI desktop like this. Okay, this Power BI desktop is a free tool on which all these building blocks are there. For example, it has the data connectors, it has the transformation components, and it has the visualization component. That all things can be done by using this Power BI desktop over here. So suppose I want to create a reports using Power BI, for example. So I have to use this tool and I have to click on new Power BI, for example, like this. Okay, this is the tool which you use for creating reports. I'll say this is the IDE of Power BI over here. And these tools have everything. And the interface is very much similar to a Excel, or it is very much similar to a PowerPoint. The way we work in Excel and Power BI, in a similar way we can work in Power BI desktop also. So this is a much more advanced tool as compared to Excel and PowerPoint, but the usage is same. It is used to create representations, to create dashboards and share it with different people. But it is much more advanced tool as compared to Excel and PowerPoint over here. If you look into the tool over here, this tool have different data sources. I'll say get data. Get data is used to connect to different types of data sources. So this is the data connectivity over here. If you look into this, I'll say these are the different types of data connectors which are available over here. We can connect to different types of data like this. Okay. So all different data connectors they are available so that we can connect to different types of data like this. Then if I want to do some manipulation, this is the transform data section where we normally do the manipulations. We do the cleaning, we do the transformations, we do the manipulation over here. This is called as the data manipulations part over here. Then this is the visualization components where we can create different types of visualizations. Then this is the data where we can view all our data. And these are the different tabs, like this is the visualization reporting tab, this is the data tab which is available, and this is the model view and all these things like this. So these are the different components of Power BI desktop. Those are the building blocks. Now let's do a quick example. Let's do a quick demo how to use this tool. So suppose I want to create or I want to use these tools for creating different types of reports. The first thing I will do is get the data. That's the first building block. Now I can connect with any type of data. I can connect with relational data. I can connect with unrelational data. I can connect with any type of data. So I'll say like I want to connect with the data and do some data insights or do some analytics with the data. I'll say just connect to the Excel like this over here. I'll say let's connect to this one. So I can have any data. For example, we'll use some sample data. I'll be using a coffee sample data like this, which is having some products and some sales data like this. Okay, so if you look into the source data, which you'll now be using for creating reports, the source data is like this. I'll say that this is the source data which we'll be using. So we'll be connecting to this type of data and we'll be creating some data reports and all the things over here. Also, this data will have this components like they are the products, they are the locations, and they are the fact tables over here. Like this. Okay, now if I want to connect to this data, let's see how we can connect this one. Also go to this and connect to the data. This is Excel sheet having different sheets, and Power we will try to get load the data and create visualizations and all the things out of this. So it will try to load the data. So it once we have loaded the data, once you have connected this one over here, I'll say let's select this one. So we have selected this components over here. Let's say this is the data which you are connecting now. So I'll say this is my fact table, this is my location table, and this is my product tables. So this is how Power BI will load the data. Any data which I'm loading, it will try to do the analysis and then it will try to load it into over here like this. Then I'll say load. Then that means this data will be loaded into my Power BI components over here. That is called as getting data. I'll say load. This data is loaded. So the data will be converted and it will be loaded into the Power BI interface. So once we have loaded the data, then I can check the data over here. If you see into the right hand side, the data are loaded. And if you check into the left hand side, we can see all the data now. These are the different data which are available. I can view all the data and I can preview all the data. The data is now in Power BI. And the beauty of Power BI is that there is a model where it will create a data mart out of this. So it will automatically create a relationship that comes under the part of data modeling. These relationships are automatically detected. Based upon the data structures, it will analyze it and it will create a relationship between them. And this is a very, very important thing. Now here, I have connected to this and I have created a relationship that is all done by Power BI. Now, if I want to connect to some more data, for example, suppose I have to connect with some more CSV data or any other data, that also I can do it like this. So I can load any type of data and any versions of data, any amount of data like this. Suppose I'll say let's load some CSV file or something like this, or some text file like this. So I'll load some text file over here like this. So I can work with heterogeneous data sources over here. That is how it will be loaded. So we can keep on loading and it will keep on adding the data. And the relationship will be based upon the data patterns. If it founds a relational data between the two data model or two entity, it will build the relationships. Or else the relationship will not be built over here. So this is the part of data loading process. And if I want to create any cleaning, I'll go to transform data over here. Here I can do different data cleaning, different data transformations and all the things like this. Okay. Now here if I want to do operations over here like this, I'll also go to this one. And whatever operations I want to do, I can do it over here. I want to clean it, I want to check it, I can do all the things like this. Suppose here I want to add some new columns or something, calculations or something like this. I'll say just go to this one. And suppose I want to do some data manipulations, data cleanings and everything. I'll say add column. And in the add column, I will just say, suppose I want to add a GST column, for example. I'll say add new custom column. And I can create different calculative columns and all the things over here. I'll say this is 0.18 or something like this. So then this will be used to add new columns over here. And then I can do all operations over here. If I want to check the data types, I can change it. So then all these operations can be done over here. So now we have loaded the data and we will say just close and save over here. But data is loaded and this is where we do the transformations. If required, we'll do the transformations. Then the data manipulations, everything will be done. Now, if you look into the data, the new columns which you have added is added into the data over here. Now, the next process is, so this is how we connect to different type of data and this is how we do different types of manipulation. Now, the next process is to create visualization, to create reports out of this. So now suppose I want to create different visualization, different reports out of this. I'll click on the visualizations over here. Any visualizations I want to represent, I will just select this one. Then I will plot my data into the visualization. Suppose I want to select visualizations over here. I'll just select this one. Then I'll plot my data over here. So I'll plot my data means I will put my x-axis and I'll put my y-axis like this. So suppose I want to plot my data over here. I'll say let's put my x-axis products and let's put a y-axis over here like this, sales. So then this is data is plotted like this over here. Now this will create a reports. It will do a calculations also. If you look into the data into the y-axis, the x-axis is a category where we normally put a dimensions or categorical data, that is the product, and the y-axis is a measure. We put a values like calculations. If you look into this, automatically it will apply different aggregate functions over here. I'll say sum or we can say maximum. So whatever I want to apply according to that, summations will be done over here in the charts. So here the calculations is done automatically by Power BI. So this is the way we can add different types of visualizations into this. And so suppose I want to plot different other types of charts like this. Then it will be plotted in this way. Say like this one. So this is a product type and this charts is plotted over here like this. So we can create different types of visualizations over here. So we can create different visualizations on all the things like this. Okay. That is all about. Now here we can get different information. For example, I can go to my charts over here. And I can see okay, these are the products which are the best sellers like this. It will plot it in this way. This is basically to get insights of the data. For example, how I am performing, how my different products are performing. This is all about the insights of the data, for example. Okay, so different business user, they will view these reports and they will take different inputs or they will get different insights of the data. For example, I'll say I can view the data like this. I'll say show the data over here. I can get all the data over here like this. So I can come get these different types of information regarding my business, which are the top sellers. For example, I'll say these are the top sellers over here. Okay, like Colombian tea is my dark coffee is my top seller over here, and regular espresso, for example, is the bottomest seller like this. This is how my business is doing, for example, and this is all dynamic. Any changes happens in the source data that will be reflected over here. Then suppose I want to add some filtrations and all the things over here. Then I will add different types of filters over here. For example, I want to add some date filters. I will add it like this. So this is how the date filters will be applied over here like this. Like this. Okay, so once we have applied the date filters, I'll say suppose this is my start date, this is my end date like this. Accordingly, the data will be filtered like this. So this all things we can add different things over here like this. Okay. Then we can save this report like this. Also, let's save this one. I'll save this report now. I'll say this is my sales report. This report will be saved over here. So we have created different visualizations and loaded the data. If required we have transformations, then we have to create a different visualization. This is the entire process. Power BI is a AI based component like this. So we can use different things, like we can use AI components, we can use co-pilots, we can use smart narratives. Now, for example, one of the AI component is called as the Power BI QA. Power BI question answer is a AI based component where we can just ask any questions and it will generate the charts out of this. So we'll just type a question. According to the reporting, the visualizations will be created. For example, I'll say, show me the top three sellers. So it will create different visualizations out of this. This is basically we can use it. So there are lots of components which we'll see gradually like this. Okay. Now, for example, this Power BI can be used to take decision makings over here like this. Now, for example, any type of decision. For example, I want to see like which is the top three states which is generating most of the revenues. For example, I want to find out the top three states. I'll just say go to this one and I'll select some charts. I will create it like this. I'll say. Okay, suppose also this is a chart or something we have created, states or sales like this, for example. Now I want to find it out my top states, which is performing the best businesses like this. Then I'll select different options are there like this. Basically, we do different types of drill down, drill through, and we use this data for taking different decisions over here like this. Okay, for example, suppose one of the other areas where we use is like use forecastings. We can do it by using Power BI. Like for example, I'll show you forecasting where we can use this Power BI for doing different forecasting like this. Suppose I want to use some forecasting, so I'll just use my data over here. Like one of the real time is to use this Power BI for doing different forecasting. Suppose I load some data over here like this. I'll say let's load this data. Suppose I load some data. One of the practical areas we use Power BI for forecasting, for example. Suppose I load this data like this. Any data I will load, and I want to do some forecasting using this. So I'll plot some charts over here. I'll say let's plot this chart over here like this. And here I'll just say orders, date and sales. So lots of use cases are there. Like suppose, for example, I want to do some forecasting on this data. That means predicting the futures. What I'll do, we can implement forecastings over here like this. I'll say enable forecasting, and we'll select for generate the forecasting for next 5 years like this. So it will do the analysis of the historical data and then it will do the forecasting of this one. So we can use it in different areas like this. Okay. Okay. Now we normally save it. Now if I want to share these reports with different people in the organizations, I'll publish this report into Power BI services. So Power BI services is an environment where we share our reports. Now if I want to look into the Power BI services, for example, this is how the Power BI services interface looks like. So with this report, I want to share it. So I have to push it into the Power BI services. For example, I'll say this one. So suppose any folder I'll select like this. I want to publish this, for example. Then what I'll do, I'll just say this report and publish. Save. I'll say publish it. Right. Okay, so I'll go to my folder. On which folder I want to share. I have to select this one. Then the report will be moved into the Power BI services. That is a cloud environment like this. Done. That means the report is being published into Power BI services like this. If you look into the services, okay, I'll say this is my Power BI services. So this is now report is being deployed into my Power BI services over here. With all the data. This is how the report has been deployed over here. I can say this is. Now once the report has been deployed, then I can do the maintenance and everything over here, right? Sharing the reports and doing all the things I can do it over here like this. So I'll say, let's share the reports over here. I want to share this report with different users. I'll just say share. Yes. Okay, I'll suggest share this people. Okay, with different people in the organization. I'll just say go to this and click on apply over here. If I want to share it to all the people, I'll say people in the. If I want to share it to specific people, I'll say share it to specific people. Then I'll say like enter the email address. Okay, this is how we have published our reports, that is moving the report into the Power BI web platforms, and then after that we can share these reports with different users. So that is the end-to-end process. For example, let's say we have different data sources. This is just initial line, like how we can connect with different data sources. This is how we can use this tool to connect with various data sources. Then if I do transformation, that means I can manipulate the data. Either I can load the data directly or I can go to a transformation window. For example, this is how the tool is. This is loading part. After loading the data, if I want to apply different transformations, I can apply different transformations over here. Yes. Once I'm done with the transformations, I'll come back to my Power BI interface. That is a separate thing that is called a data transformation. Then I'll use this data for creating different visualization for different types of visualization. Then I'll save it. Once I've saved this report, I will just say I can save it over here and I can export it into different formats. Like I want to export it to PDF or any different versions. I can do it directly in the desktop, or I want to push this reports into the web. I'll just say publish. This publishing will push the reports into the web like this. Okay. Now, once we have published the report into the web, for example, a link is created, and this link can be accessed by different people like this. For example, I'll say a QR code is also generated, or a link is also generated. Using this, the user can directly view the reports, but only the user who have the access. Like this, I'll say code edit, and then I can get the link over here. I'll say this is the link actually, but people who have given access, they can access it. Oh, here like this. Okay, this is how we did. Now one thing is that if you look into this, this is how the data is being published over here, and then we manage everything from here like this. So we can open this report, we can do different types of refresh and all the things. We can do it from here. Like we can open the reports and we can do all the operations in the web. Now everything can be managed by the web over here. If I want to edit the report, any operations, I can do it. I can do it from here also like this. Okay, I can create a different charts, and everything can be done directly in the web itself. So these are the different things over here. We can, so that's the entire process: load, transform, visualize, and share. This is the typical use of Power BI. It's a very like intuitive tool. You can say it's a very user-friendly tool which can connect to different types of data and create different types of visualizations, get insights of the data and all the things, and then to share the reports with different users. That is the ultimate goal of this Power BI.